Do you experience constant power struggles with your kids? Are you worn out from your kids not listening? You try to be nice and reasonable, but it always backfires and it ends up with screaming and begging? There is a better way. Hi, I'm Shmulik and welcome to Guiding and Thriving. This channel is dedicated in bringing out the best in you, your kids, and in your relationships, empowering you to not only thrive, but to be a force of positivity to everyone around you. Today, I will give you 3 major tips that will transform your mindset and you start implementing today to start seeing measurable results. Number 1, kids are not malicious. They're just extremely efficient and they learned the game. They figured out what to say, what buttons to push, and if they try hard enough, they may actually get their way. For example, you might tell your kid, "Hey Mandy, it's time to clean up the toys. Put away the screen." And they just ignore you. Or worse, that might respond forcefully, "Hey, it's not fair. You always do this. You never let me finish off. You always ruin it. You don't care about me." And on and on and on. The challenge I found is that even if we try to be nice, say it reasonable, think the best way possible, they still give us the same response. So not only are they not listening, it blows up in our face and only adds salt to the wound. Therefore, many have the natural reaction to start explaining, justifying, trying to convince their child to see their point of view. Or worse, many times they lose their cool, react emotionally, then we are left with disconnection, friction, hurt feelings, and we're just back to square one. Therefore, if you want to earn our position as a respected authority, we must keep our cool. We normally get emotionally charged, either because we take it as a personal affront, or because we feel lost, trapped, frustrated, and we don't have a better way how to navigate the situation. Or we hope that by showing them our emotions, our strong response, it'll convince them and be the final straw to get them to actually do what we ask them. But in all these cases, we might have won the immediate war, but we have definitely lost the long-term battle. Therefore, in order to successfully deal with these emotional reactions, we can't just focus on results, but we need to find a better solution how to deal effectively with these challenging situations. So let's tackle each one of these individually. Taking it personal. If you could try and look at it not about you, but about the situation. Looking at the situation objectively, with the child responding or acting in a certain way, and the parent, the adult, trying to enforce something, and they're not listening or need to discipline, what would be the most appropriate response and way to deal with it? Think, what does a child want? What tactics are they using to get their desire? What they're trying to manipulate? And what would be the most professional or reasonable, calm way to respond to that without getting sucked in to the drama? What choice of words or behaviors elicit an appropriate positive response, a respectful interaction, or a negative response? And even if we make a mistake, we could always correct it. We are not a mistake, we made a mistake. If we're getting emotional because we just feel overwhelmed, frustrated, hurt, angry, it's amazing that we recognize it. Awareness is the first step to positive change. Now, when you're watching this video, you're not in the heat of the moment. So use that painful experience, that uncomfort, to fuel you to figure out and come up with a better plan how to respond. When we have a plan, we know what to do, what to say, how to handle the reactions. It makes it so much easier to stay calm and not lose ourselves. If you are in the heat of the moment, you're overreacting, you're emotional, and you're aware of it, my motto has always been, don't make it worse. I say it to myself a bunch of times. I don't need to have all the answers, but I know that if I'm going to say something that's just going to make it more negative or create more emotions, I didn't make it better, I only made it worse. So it's far better for me to keep quiet now than to do something that's going to end up backfiring. Imagine, instead of shouting and losing ourselves, we have a different response. We turn around to our child and say, hey, listen up. That wasn't acceptable. It was totally wrong. I'm not in the right mind frame to deal with it now, but I'm going to think it through and get back to you and deal with it appropriately. And then the next day, 2 days later, we come back and say, remember what happened on this and this time? You did X, Y, and Z, and therefore you're getting this consequence. And we do it calmly and firmly. We may feel that we lost out in the immediate situation by not dealing with it, but we gain so much in the long term. And even in the short term, we didn't really lose out. We could always come back and deal with it, and they'll learn. We're not a hit and run job. We're in it for the long haul, building a long-term relationship, and we want to create a great foundation for that. This brings us to our final point. Imagine if our kids learn that they only need to listen to us, and we mean business, only when we shout, scream, threaten, get emotional. What type of culture does that create long-term? Instead, I found that it's so much more effective to show them with our actions, not with our emotions. If they see time and time again that when we say something, we mean business, they'll learn pretty fast the new rules. If they see that when we tell them something, they could wiggle out of it by complaining, keep on asking, being emotional, etc., then that is their reality, and that's how they go to keep on responding. But if they learn that when we say something, that's what's going to be, no amount of repeating, emotions, complaining, we're not going to budge. And if they keep on being inappropriate, they're going to get a consequence and deal with it. They'll learn the new norms. And we could do this by our actions. Being calmly and firmly, they'll learn. A lot of times, it's difficult to stand firm, so we use our emotions to compensate for that inefficiency. Just like it's hard for our children to listen to us, it's hard for us to step up boundaries. So we're getting emotional, hoping that our emotions will take away the challenge. But that doesn't work that way. If we could just keep on taking the actions that we have to, stand our ground, and every time we quote unquote mess up, that fuels us to stand firm, not by getting emotional, but just by being factual, they will learn and start respecting us as an authority. So to recap, when we respond emotionally, it creates long-term friction and distrust. Therefore, try to look at the situation objectively. It's not about you, it's about the situation. And make a plan how to respond in those interactions. And if we're not sure, we're in the heat of the moment, we could always deal with it later. Just don't make it worse. And show them with your actions, not with your emotions. Look out for my next 2 videos. One about how to give you a formula to shift your mindset and not take things so personal, and will enhance all your relationships and interactions. The next video is my quick fix formula. That when you're lost in a situation, I'll give you a quick formula how to navigate it and come up with concrete action steps to move forward. Until then, like, subscribe, and share. And as always, be intentional, be proactive, and always live by your values.